Hi, I'm Rachel Colant, a Wahl Ambassador. I'm here with Moo, and Moo's owner Hayden is a buyer planner here at Wahl. We're gonna do a cute pet trim on Moo today. I'm gonna do a short clipper length on the body, slightly longer on the legs, a guard comb on the head, and give a cute style. For my prep work, we're using a Wahl Bravura today. My first step is gonna be getting the stop area right in between the eyes. I'm gonna go about a pinky's width on the 9 setting. I'm just desensitizing the dog a little bit before I go for it. And then we're just gonna do a slight scooping motion. He wants to smell the clipper. That's okay. We'll let him explore. And just a little scoop right in between the eyes. He's already really short in here, but if he had hair that was growing, I would flip and go inwards to get the eye corners. His pads are gonna be the next step, and I'm gonna use a 40, the shortest setting on the 5-in-1 to shave the paw pads. And I wanna hold this foot parallel and just scoop on the sides, anything that might touch the ground. And then just clean up the hair in between his pads. Then we're gonna do the back pad. We're gonna repeat the same process, try to hold his leg parallel and clean up anything that might hang over the side of the foot and any hair that's growing in between the paw pads. He seems like he needs a little extra support for this leg, so I changed my positioning so that he wouldn't be jumping all over. Now I'm gonna change to a 10 setting, which is the second length, and do my sanitary. Now he's not neutered, so to get this stuff cleaned up, I wanna go in the sides. And the rest I'm gonna get from underneath. Still on a 10 setting, and I'm just going to shave all this hair to the widest part of the thigh muscle. And then I'm gonna pivot my blade out a little bit to blend as I go. And I wanna be careful of this flap of skin. Make sure that I'm not gonna cut anything. After I'm done with my prep work, pad, sani, and eyes, I'm gonna switch to my KM Supera with a 5 blade and clipper the body. I'm gonna clipper all the way up to the back of the head. And I just wanna set my line for my head by using the 5 to clipper all the way up to the bulb on the back of the ear. And once I've clippered around the neck, I'm gonna put the grooming loop back on because this guy's a little nervous. And I'm gonna clipper all the way to the throat where the head meets the jaw. And this is just setting my line to save me some time and effort when I trim the head. I'm not gonna have a bunch of hair under here that's not adding to the shape of my face that I'll have to clean with scissors. I wanna try to do everything I can with my clippers. And leave scissoring to a minimum. Since I'm gonna leave his legs a little bit longer, I wanna just skim off of the widest part of his shoulder muscle to set myself up for a nice parallel line. And as I'm clippering around the side of this dog's body, you wanna make sure that you're pivoting your clippers so that you're always feeding hair into your blade or your guard comb at the same point. I'm gonna pull this leg forward to get my underline. I'm always gonna be cautious and careful that I don't get any flaps of skin caught in between the teeth and cause a nick. He's kind of got a lot of skin, so I want to make sure that I'm holding his skin taut as I clipper to get an even cut. And then same thing, I want to find the widest part of his thigh muscle and then skim straight down so that I set myself up for a parallel line. I'm going to pull the tail to the side and get everything on the side of the tail, and then I'm going to set in my rear. So I want to give a little bit of rear angulation just to help balance the dog. This dog's body is very long, so I'm leaving a tuck up, doing rear angulation, and I'm also going to do front angulation to match the rear, which just means setting this shoulder underneath his body a bit. But these are really simple, quick and easy corrective grooming techniques that you can do to help balance your dog's body more. Then I'm just gonna come around and clipper the other side. Now that I've set the length on the body with a 5, I'm gonna move on to the legs, and we're gonna use an O comb to just tidy the legs. There's not gonna be a ton of length taken off, but it'll neaten them up and give a cute shape. I'm using a 30 blade underneath the 0 comb, which is a 5/8. It's also the yellow comb, just depending on how you learned. Anytime I'm using my clippers, I really want to move slowly so that I can allow the clippers to do their job and move over the hair enough times to cut it at an even length. I'm gonna get this front panel of the leg with the leg stretched out, and I'm just gonna clipper all the way down to the foot. On the inside of the back leg as well, if he will let me. Good boy. And sometimes to check when dogs are less comfortable having me move their legs around, sometimes to check the inside of this leg, I'll lift them up and go from the front. I'm just trying to only move him in a way that is comfortable for him. Comb up on this leg, in the front and sides. I'm gonna shake it out a little bit, just so that the hair is standing out, not up or down. We want to lift the hair so that it's at an out angle like this. And then I'm gonna pick up my clippers and just go over it one more time. So for this front leg, I want to trim this whole front section of the leg with one swipe. And how I do that is I'm standing behind the dog. I'm going to lift the foot, keep the foot in the natural range of movement. You're a good boy. Shh, 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 shh. So I want to pull this foot back, and then I'm just going to clipper that whole front panel as much as I can. Once I have this transition area clippered, then I'm gonna move to the front and support his leg as I clipper the rest. We're really just tidying with this 0. This is just making it so that we don't have to do too much scissoring. But not very much length is coming off. Then I want to comb up just the same as I did on the back leg. We're just going to comb all this stuff up so that the hair is standing out to the side. Then I'm going to clipper. Now we have his legs and body clippered. Before I put my clippers away, I'm gonna do clipper work on the head. I switched to my bravura because he's a little bit nervous. So I'm gonna do a 2 with my bravura on a 40 setting for the chin, just to take a lot of this bulk off. And I'm switching to a 0 on a 40 setting for the top of the head. And I want to follow the shape of the dog's skull. So I'm not going to pull forward on these areas. I'm going to curve around the shape of the dog's head. I'm going to flip the ear, avoid the front of the ear, and just curve around the side of the dog's head. And this is going to start to set my round shape. And we're just going to repeat that on the other side. Just checking my work. And I'm actually gonna switch back to a 2 now that I'm here. I wanna start blending this transition from the body length of a 5 blade into the length of the 0 on the top of the head. I wanna go from the bulb on the back of the ear on either side. I want a subtle V shape going from here to here, going from the bulb on the back of the ear to the occiput. So this is my blending area. And I'm just gonna switch to a 2 and blend that. That's it for the clipper work on the body. Everything else is going to be shaped by scissors. Moo's feet are already pretty short, so I really just need to get any pieces that are sticking outside of the shape that I want. And I'm just taking curved shears and trimming anything that sticks out of my shape. After that foot is rounded, and I'm gonna comb the leg hair up again. And just make sure my transition areas are blended and that there's no pieces of hair that stick out longer than the length that was set by my clipper. I also need to tidy the inside of this back leg, because as I said, he was less comfortable having that area clippered. We don't know whether he has bad knees or arthritis or anything like that. And I'm just focusing on making sure that I have a parallel line from the widest part of the thigh muscle to the foot. Now I'm just going to tidy the front and the back. Doesn't need very much. The clippers did a great job on this coat. When I work on the front of this back leg, I want to make sure that I'm also scissoring in my tuck up. My tuck up is going to be a continuation of this leg line, and it shortens the appearance of the space between this back leg and this front leg. When I set a tuck up, I want the shortest point to be below the last rib. And then I just want a nice half moon shape into the front of this back leg. So I'm just gonna use the curve of my shear to set in that tuck up. Make sure that we don't want extra hair up here. The only tuck up hair that we're gonna leave is coming from this flap. We just wanna make sure it blends into the front of our leg line. So what I'm gonna do now is just take my chunkers and tidy this line. And I'm checking my work with my comb, making sure that there's no hair that's gonna stick out, and checking my parallel on the inside. So that's the back leg, and we're gonna repeat on the front, focus on our parallel lines and rounded foot, and know that we already set the length with our guard comb, so we're just tidying anything that might be sticking outside of the shape or the length set by the guard comb. I rounded the foot, and then when I look at the sides of my legs, I want to find the areas that there's hair that sticks outside of our straight line. We're just gonna tuck it in with our thinning shears or chunkers. This dog does not love standing up, but as much as you can, you should do this with the dog standing. If the dog won't stay standing, trim and then lift. Check your work, let the dog sit again if they need to. The best way to do this is with the dog standing, holding its leg in a natural position. This is the last area on this front leg that I need to make sure wraps into our parallel. And then I'm gonna comb up and check my work. Look at the dog from the front to ensure you have parallel lines. And then we'll repeat the process on the other side. The legs are scissored now. What we have left are the head, ears, and tail. The owner doesn't want the ears trimmed at all, so we might just, if there's any straggly hairs that are hanging down low, we'll probably trim that up. And since we're gonna leave long ears, I like to leave a fuller tail, so I'm really just gonna tidy that just a little bit, and then we'll shape the face real round with scissors. We'll start with the tail. All that I'm gonna do is just lightly shape what's there. I don't really wanna reset the length or anything like that. We're transitioning from the tail into the body. I'm just taking off any uneven areas. Then I want to go underneath. And again, just lightly tidy. We're not reinventing the wheel here. We're just neatening the hair and the shape that exists naturally. Combing to check our work. Now we have a cute round tail. Okay, we have set the length on the top of the head with a 0. We've set the length on the chin with a 2. And I'm just gonna start to bring all of the pieces together. I know that I have to blend the length of the top of the head into the shorter length on the body. I know I wanna clean out around the eyes, trim around the lip, and just give a nice lifted round shape. So my first step is going to be to clean this hair out. I want to trim this first layer on the dog's eyelid as short as I can to about 1 centimeter past the corner of the eye. And this dog has eyelashes, so I'm going to try to save them. You can see it's short right above the eye, but it still looks very soft. We're gonna repeat on the other side. Sometimes it's hard to groom dogs that have two different colors on their face because it throws your eye when you're looking for balance. But I just don't think that there's a way that this dog won't end up cute, so I got lucky here. Once that first layer is set, then I'm gonna move on to my lip line. So I'm just gonna trim from the corner of the mouth to from the corner of the nose to the corner of the nose. Any hairs that hang down. So that when I look at the dog from the side, I have a lift into the lip line. So I'm flipping the ear back, making sure that I'm not pulling this so that it's changing where this hair actually lays underneath here. And everything below the ear canal, I'm just gonna trim straight up and down. I already clippered all the way back up to the back of the bulb on the back of the ear. So everything underneath that, we're gonna trim straight up and down and set the back of our jawline. My next step is to meet my jawline from underneath. We already set our length of our chin with a 2, and we already clippered all the way up to the point where the throat and the jaw meet. So everything that hangs past that clipper line, I'm just gonna trim, and I'm gonna take my shears, rest them against the dog's throat, and trim straight across. And that leaves me with this square jaw shape. And because I want a round face for this dog, a round face doesn't come from a round shape like this on a pet trim. I want a short, straight line, and then a lift into the jaw and a lift into the muzzle. The roundness is actually gonna come from just our transition areas like right here and right here. Otherwise, I'm focusing on making straight lines. So I'm gonna comb everything down. And with my scissors at a 45-degree angle, I'm gonna make a straight line back towards the jaw. And I wanna make sure that I'm cutting at a 45-degree angle because when I cut at this angle, not flat and not straight up and down, the hairs underneath here are getting cut shorter, so they're able to support and maintain a round shape of these long hairs on top. Now, I'm gonna just keep combing. And when I get back to this squared off area, all I'm gonna do is take my thinners and wrap up and in to make it round. I don't cut at this angle because I want a defined jawline. I don't want to take this hair out and create a weak jaw. So I'm still combing down. Once I have my length set and I'm happy with that shape, I will move to the front of the dog. And I did set the length of the chin with a 2, but I'm just gonna clean up my line and make sure that there's nothing that's sticking out. So now you can see from the front, we're already starting to get a lift on the face. And once I'm happy with the length, then I'm gonna comb up and out and lift on the sides and start to use a finer pair of thinning shears at this upwards angle to round my shape. And then when I look from the top, I want a straight line here, rounded at the edge and rounded at the edge. So I'm just gonna cut at this upwards angle. Up and out, make sure that I'm checking that there are not any pieces of hair that are stuck in the lip or stuck inside the mouth. Just making sure it's not too heavy in that eye area. I'm gonna flip the ear back. Now I have this area right here that I need to blend. And again, we're not gonna touch the length on the ears at all, but I do wanna blend the areas that need it. I'm using my curved shears because he's got nice texture on the top of his head. And I'm just gonna start to comb, lift, and tuck that in. My last step for this side of the face is going to be combing up and out and taking a pair of curved shears and just making a nice finish on the top of the muzzle. Trim that chin, just tuck those hairs back. Now when we look from the front, we can see the difference between both sides of the face. This side has been trimmed, this side is not yet. It didn't take too much. The length isn't significantly different, but the shape is a lot different, and that's what I was going for. We just want a lot of lift. So I'm just gonna repeat the same thing on the other side. I wanna make sure when I'm working on each side of my face that the angle that I'm cutting is the same. So because I went at this upwards 45-degree angle on the side of the face on this side, I need to match that angle on this side. However, you just wanna make sure that you're stopping, coming back to the front and checking, because you can't see the length that you're setting from the side. But match your angle if you want your face to be the same shape on either side. And that's MooMoo's haircut. We did a 5-blade on the body. We tidied the legs with a 0 comb. We did a 0 comb on the top of the head, a 2 comb on the chin, and then lightly scissor tidied anything that was sticking out.